Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is April 17, 2023, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, JP Morgan, the largest bank in the world, had a record profit for the first quarter last Friday. And as a result, the stock gapped up and it went higher throughout that trading day. Now looking at today's major economic events, nothing scheduled. So as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the euro and the British pound pretty much top out at resistance. When we look at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ kind of lose steam last Friday. And looking at commodities, gold retracing while oil remains unchanged. Now, when we looked at the stocks, major stocks like the tech stock kind of wavered last Friday. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin dipping just below 30K. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're going to start with the Euro USD as we always do, just because it's the largest pair in the world between each other. Okay, so this is the story. I mean, we hit close to a breakout move at this 110, but we didn't sustain it. So all intents and purposes, this hit a double top for all intents and purposes. If it doesn't clear in the next couple of days, I call this a double top, so just consider that, as this may retrace back to 107 if it doesn't clear it. Now, we've got a lot of news coming out throughout the week, a lot of corporate earning news coming out, so just be aware of it. Now, looking at the GBP USD, same story, and cleared higher. It's retracing, but not retracing as much, so there's still a chance that this will lift versus the dollar and also lift the euro versus the dollar as well, so keep this in mind. And jumping into commodities, gold retracing here at 211, not breaking higher. It's really having a hard time clearing that 2060, 2055-ish level and sustaining it, okay? Doesn't mean that it's going to sell off. It doesn't mean that it's going to break 2000, but it does mean for now that we're consolidating in this area. Now, looking at crude oil, nothing doing. I mean, we just hit that 200-day moving average on a daily, and this is really a telltale sign. We need to break higher. If we don't break higher, this will be an issue. So keep an eye on this. And if it does pop, it pops, okay? So keep an eye on this because this could still have some unfolding news. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, we hit that 34,000-ish level and we kind of tapered off, okay? Which is fine because, you know, we've had a nice run. 34,000, high, all-time high is 36,300. JP Morgan, largest bank in the world, comes out with great news. Kind of lifts the market, but maybe people are just taking advantage of the market being this high and just taking some of that money off the table. So keep that in mind as we are taking money off the table here. Looking at the NASDAQ, we're trading at 13,190. Also, a decent place for us to be, but a pause, at least for now. Now, when we look at the stocks, if we look at the tech stocks, Microsoft was down or unchanged. Facebook was really unchanged for the day. If you look at a daily, just to that 220 level, not higher. Alcoa has been dead, so we're not going to follow that. But looking at Apple, it's closer to its highs, but again, not pushing higher. So I need to see some clearance of that as this unfolds. Now, not next week, but the following week, we do have all these FANG stocks, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google coming out with their earning reports. So things are going to start cooking up in the next couple of weeks. So just be aware of that. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin as it's entering, I skipped JP Morgan, which was the main event here, as it gapped up. So let's just jump into JP Morgan. This is it. This is that gap up. Look at that huge gap up. We went from 128 up to 138, $10 gap up. And then we sustain it and we went. Okay, so big deal about it is that we're at these levels. Now, if we look at a daily, we need to sustain it because we are at resistance-ish level at 138. That's a pivotal area. So the question is will it just sustain itself at this area and kind of consolidate? Or is it going to correct itself because people are still anticipating some of the effects of the inflation, some of the effects of the rate decision as it responds to the inflation, and how that's going to work out on all these financial companies. So keep that in mind, as this may be an opportunity for a fade, which means that it's going to correct itself on the downside. And this might be like just showing you, oh, it's really strong, but really it's not, as we go into the next couple of quarters. Keep this in mind. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, trading at 29,000, just shy of that 30K, and we dipped. Okay, not a big deal. But again, I mean, if you're following this, this may be an opportunity for it to correct itself further to 28,500. So keep that in mind, as this is also a timely play. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.